Carl's late, so give me 1 minute. Oops, I have a microphone on me today so you can follow me. I just have to wipe off the table because since Carl's not here, we'll start with Nalbinding. Carl got stuck at work, and anybody who wants to drive him home gets a Belgian beer, he says. Anyway, I don't want to see my tea stains on the table here, so I'm going to wipe it, and then we can needle bind. There. So Happy New Year! We had an amazing trip back on the ferry, and I did film some of it. There you are. We had, where's my camera only halfway? It's weird, but it's fine. We had the Northern Lights like I've never seen them before personally, so that was really cool. Turn on my computer here and I can see you. Hopefully it's not breathing too heavy. There's a microphone here because it was better quality. My phone battery, we'll see how much it sucks out of it because if I'm running low, we found out from past experience that you can't switch the sound mid-sending, in which case we'd end a little early today. But we'll find out. Okay, so first we have to say hi to everybody and Happy New Year 2025. I was watching Back to the Future with my kids. Believe it or not, 15 years old, they'd never seen it before. They're going to be 16 in about 1.5 months. And they've never seen Back to the Future. So we watched Back to the Future 1, Back to the Future 2, Back to the Future 3. And I had watched that to death when I was a kid. But now, on the other hand, I hadn't seen it in a while, so it was kind of fun to watch it back. And as we watch it back, you can see what life was going to be like in 2015. And I was got to say, I'm a little disappointed. I'm still waiting for the hoverboards and the all the other fun stuff that they had. So there you go. But yeah, we did get some footage on the way out of Bergen. Then you could see it was like basically dark, but it was the camera picks up, the new camera picks up quite a bit more. Got a little bit of Florø, F-L-O-R, that looks like a 0. And that one, we were able to see a boat that was like docked in the ferry or something. Sorry, I'm fiddling. And then we really couldn't see much else. So once we got far out, we couldn't. But looks like Georg is going to rescue Carl. Way to go, chieftain. Anything for a Belgian beer. So anyway, then we couldn't get to film much more. And then we were going to walk around Selly and take some pictures, but we did kind of do that quite a bit already. So of course we didn't get off our lazy asses. We fully enjoyed our holiday and did not go out much. But on the way back, then we filmed a little bit leaving Selja, and I thought I filmed a little bit leaving Måløy. I filmed going into Måløy, but I thought I was filming going out of Måløy, and it turns out when I thought I was filming, I wasn't, and when I thought I wasn't filming, I was. So that didn't really work out. But then Carl needed a smoke break somewhere halfway around the trip. I forget exactly where, but apparently there's like Mjørma or something, MJ, or no. It looked like Mama, but with a J in there, MJAMN or something like that. It was something weird. But anyway, near there, just before there, then Carl needed to go out and get a cigarette, so I followed him out with the camera. What the hell? And holy crap, that's the best way to see the Northern Lights. We've gone out to go and see them before, my kids and I. I can see them in Duluth, where I grew up, but you know, you've got light pollution, as they call it. So you could see it, but you couldn't see it really, really well. And so I saw them in Oslo as well when I first came here, but it's just kind of like, looks like green haze. But out there on the fjord on a boat where there's absolutely no lights whatsoever, we walked down, it looked like a flippin' alien invasion. So the cover photo that I used for the thumbnail is just a picture taken from the video. So we might not have a lot of the boat of our trip, but I'll post that at some point anyway, and I'll get that in there. It's about 5 minutes of me sitting there going, wow. And sooner or later, the rest of the boat figured out that there was the Northern Lights route, because there was only 2 people on the deck, and they were sitting there filming like mad. I thought they were filming themselves, but it turns out when you there's this blue light right when you walk out onto the deck, so you can see, and as soon as you walk past that, all of a sudden you just get hit with this major green light. So it was cool, and they were super sharp and super dancing, so it was like I'd never seen it before. I didn't even realize there were reds and purples in there until I saw them through the camera, and because it picks up a lot more. And then when you looked after, you could see, yeah, they are in there, but the camera really picks it up. So fun to see. Anyway, so that's what that picture was from. So we figured that even though it was the 1st of January, it was a little bit of fireworks nature style. So anyway, James is here and he says, hi, Karin and Karl. I'm working on a jaguar hat. Not a jaguar, but a chaguar hat, if I'm saying that right. I've never heard that term before, but I had to look it up. It's like those floppy hats, but not quite floppy. It's more like a fisherman hat, and they're usually crocheted or knit or something. So that will be quite cool to see. I used to make a whole crap ton of those in the 2000s out of crochet. I sold a bunch of them. This was before I learned how to needle bind. I think I made one in needle binding, not sure. But they were so fun to make anyway. You're just basically making like a box-shaped hat, and then when you get down here, you start increasing just enough rows, and it basically keeps the sun out of your eyes. That hat I've mostly seen in cotton, but it would work in wool as well, actually. It'd probably be a little bit rainproof in wool too, so that will be fun to see. But I've never heard that name before, jaguar hat, so I'm gonna have to check that one out. Duria's on a break at work. We gotta wave quickly then. I got all dressed up for you. No, I gotta work on it. Audra's here and she says ciao from Italy, by the way. +5 degrees, so she's living the life. Audra's been traveling. She's been in Bali. She's been in, where were you last week? You forgot you were somewhere else, so quite unique, and now you're in Italy. Prude is here. It's snowy and cold in rural Poland. It has been cold all day here as well in Norway. I can't remember what the temperature was, but anyhow, cold it was. Lyra is here, and I see Lyra and Samantha, who is also here, are all expecting the same winter storm. They have lots of wool projects that are ready to end to keep them warm for the next couple of days. Lyra says, getting ready for a huge ice storm. I have all my Nalbinding and weaving products ready to go. Projects ready to go, not products. And Samantha says, I have lots of wool projects to keep me warm for the next few days. So you can survive anything as long as you've got yarn. We proved this with COVID. When you went into lockdown, all you needed was yarn, and I was good to go. James says, oh yeah, he said that the jaguar stick was a technique from down South America. I could see that anyway. It's like a bucket hat. Maybe that's a better way of saying it, like called it like a bucket hat, but it doesn't just go straight down. It kind of flares just about here. And you could flare it a lot and have one of these blossom hats from the 90s, if you remember those. You just kind of pin it up and put a big flippin' flower on it or something. They were quite fun to make. Albert's here. He says he has a dull start of the new year by being sick. I hope you get better. I was doing really well. We were doing great, but then I got a migraine from hell yesterday. I was supposed to start back at work yesterday, but it wasn't until today. I still don't know what caused it. I'm thinking maybe because for some reason when we got home, the house had been cold for like 2 weeks, just enough heat to keep the water from freezing. But Karl had to I don't know, burn down half a forest just to keep me warm. It was like this, and then maybe because I sat like this for like 5 hours under a blanket, I don't know. But I'm not sure what set off the migraine, but I had a migraine from hell. But it's what I used to tell people in the Viking village if they're going to sleep overnight. Rule number 1, don't go to bed cold. Make sure you've got some heat in your bones before you go to bed. And I think maybe that might have been one of the things because I think the cold got into my bones. It was a travel day before, and that maybe is why it took me so long to heat up. So, don't know, but anyway. Anne says she knows the virus. Oh, there we go. Gotta go a little bit further. I missed that one. I don't know. Anne says, I know the virus. First me, now my husband. Oh no, there's a Christmas virus going around, or a New Year's virus. Let's see. So far it hasn't hit up here yet. We were pretty smart. We got sick in September instead. And then it was the rhinovirus, or the rhinovirus, however you want to call that. Lindsay says this weather storm isn't supposed to affect them until tomorrow. Today it's around 55, where she's at Fahrenheit, by the way, and perfect for pretending it's colder and snuggling up with her projects. My kid called me yesterday. One of them called me while walking home, and she said she had to walk backwards. It was blowing so hard. But she knit a scarf. I was so excited. She finished this scarf that she's been working on it's the first time I've ever seen my kids take on like an adult-sized project and finish it. And the other one is knitting a Harry Potter scarf. So the first one has one like this wide with a rib stitch, and the other one has one that's also rib but this wide. So hers is going to take her longer to finish it. But super happy to see them finish it, and I saw that one of them is chained on a new one today, so that'll be kind of fun to see. And I'm getting all kinds of questions at 1 o'clock in the morning. Mom, how do I finish the project? I can't go to sleep until I finish. And I thought, oh, do I recognize this problem? I'm the same way. But she managed it. She did a really good job, and it was a gift for her friend. So now if she picks up this, if both of them pick up this hobby, I've got a lot of yarn I can support it with. So that'll be good. Roger is here as well. Max is here. Arlene is here. She's a great day to stay inside and do some Nalbinding. It is cold today. Susan is here from Frankfurt. Arlene's in Canada, by the way, and Anne's in Belgium. We're all over the place. Susan said she's got the wonderful virus going around there too. Thank goodness for Nalbinding. Max says he's currently making a pair of mittens for his nephew, and then afterwards he'll finish the teddy bear for his niece. That's going to be so cute. I can't wait to see it. Let's see. Roger's in is in Huntington Beach, California, so he's doing quite well. And Rhonda's here. Nalbinding afternoon yesterday with her Weaving Guild peeps. That was cool. Drea said that a meteor shower was a couple of nights ago, looking for stragglers, possible northern lights again tonight. Yeah, they're saying that it's actually going to be just better and better and better northern lights up until 2027, I think, and then maybe it phases out a bit and it comes in again. It's the solar activity. So that should be fun to see, but oh my God, I think we're going to be taking the ferry more often. What I call a ferry, the Norwegians call a boat, because this one doesn't take cars. Just a little disclaimer there. Heidi Liseth is here from Trøndelag. Vi drukner i snø. They're drowning in snow over there. We got a little bit, but luckily it was just enough that we could still pull our luggage up the walkway, because of course that hasn't been shoveled. Oh, but I like the snow. But yeah, and my kid's in Askim, which is closer to Oslo, and there's lots of snow down there too. But Gudvangen's got about this much maybe, which is pretty good considering it melts quite quickly here. Maxie decided to keep the kid's name anonymous, so I could ask him sometime during the following weeks to see which songs could be easier to play. Oh, sorry. So anyway, I was thinking a lot about asking my BIL to see if I can if he can teach me how to play the kalimba while I play the ocarina. I'm probably butchering those names. Brother-in-law is what I'm trying to say. Since I decided to keep his name anonymous, I could ask him sometime during the following weeks to see which songs could be much easier to play. Anybody know how to play those and has some tips? I have no idea how to play either one of them, but I'm intrigued. Prudy used her Christmas break to make a pair of breeches, but got her maths wrong and made them twice as wide as they should be, and she feels stupid. Lucky for someone else, maybe Greg. Hey, Greg will always accept clothing. You could make him very, very happy. Andrea says, the Harry Potter scarf. Yep, knitted herself a Ravenclaw one with the colors from the books and not the movie. Yep, that's a... Well, Alex has Slytherin, and Cecilia has Hufflepuff. So those will be fun to see when they're done. My mom had knit them some a couple of years ago, but or maybe 3 or 4 years ago, but they got worn to death. So it's time for the new one. The girls are with their fathers because nobody lives in Gudvangen, so they prefer to go to school now that they're almost they're high school age pretty much. They prefer to go to school in a more populated area. So they come out here during the off season. During the summer, I mean, and on the school breaks and things, and otherwise they stay out at their father's and go to school with more kids. They'd probably only have maybe 20 people in their entire class here, where over there they got like 100. So it's a lot. Rhonda finished the teddy bear for her great niece, and it's so cute. It includes a little Irish style pullover of the bear. It's a Ravelry pattern, Sancho. I'll have to look that up. If you don't know what Ravelry is, by the way, Ravelry.com, it doesn't have a needle binding category, but it's a place basically where you can categorize and organize all your knitting, crochet. I think they have weaving projects. There might be another one in there, I'm not sure, but for some reason needle binding never made it onto the list. I put it in as crochet because that's about the closest I can think of in construction wise. And then I always put Nalbinding in the title of the project, and I put a disclaimer in the notes. This is not crochet, this is done with Nalbinding. But if you have that one, it's a great way because you can keep track of which yarn you used, any pattern notes you want to have on there, where you found your pattern, what color yarn, which kind of yarn you used, which color yarn you used, and if you ever want to go back, and I didn't think I would, but actually I do it a lot. If you ever want to go back and reference, that's a great way to do it. For example, I made a neck warmer for somebody in about this time last year, and they lost it at Midgardsblot and want a new one. I happen to have the same yarn, so I'll make another one for them, but I need to refer back to what I did. And I can even see the picture and everything that I posted. But it is really cool to look back and go, holy crap, I made more than 300 projects in my life. Actually, I know I made more than that because I haven't posted all of them. But it's a nice thing to do, and it's a great way to get inspiration with ideas. There is actually a couple of Nalbinding groups on there, on the forum there. I think Ann Decker is pretty active in those, I think. I tend to look at it every 3 months. I'm a horrible person. But I think it's called Nalbinders of Ravelry or Nalbinders on Ravelry, which you can look up. But if you haven't seen that page anyway, it's really good. If you want to get some inspiration for things you can do with crochet or with Nalbinding, look up crochet patterns and you can kind of adapt them if you want to. It's just a matter of working out your gauge. Let's see. 57 degrees Fahrenheit or 14 Celsius here in Southern California, says Roger. And then points out that it's minus 12 degrees Celsius in Gudvangen. Yep, it's a little cold today. The heater was on, but we weren't exactly convinced, but it's definitely a day for a shawl. Let's see what else we can catch up on. You can donate some of your stash to your kids, Karen. I know, and then it's like it's like busting my stash, but I didn't even have to use it. And then I can just guilt them for the rest of their lives like my mother did me. You have to finish. No, I can see why my mom does it. Okay, so Carl's not here. I'm tea tasting. I don't know if I had this one on here, but I have to have. It's so good, but I forgot one thing also. So, did you know Twinings makes a gingerbread tea? And did you know that for the majority of my life I've been calling it Twinnings until I saw a commercial recently that calls it Twinings, and then I realized there's only one N in there. Well, one N before the vowels. Anyway, really good. But a while ago, Audra made me some honey, and I still have some left. And it's better with a little bit of the honey in there, especially Audra honey. So there you go, Audra. That's my little commercial for today. So if Carl doesn't make it in time and does his beer testing, I'm tea testing. Okay, and then, yeah, there are some Nalbinding groups on Ravelry. You'll find them. I think Nalbinders on Ravelry is one of them. Ravelry now has a spinning category. That was it, yeah. I remember thinking it was, why in the hell would they put a spinning and a weaving category in there, but not a Nalbinding category. There is even a group or a petition that was created quite a while ago now for a Nalbinding group, maybe 10 years ago, and they still haven't. But I think the official reason that they used is they don't have the staff working on it like they did in the beginning, and to create a whole new category is a lot of programming. So that's their story, and they're sticking to it. Okay, I'm going to move my computer aside here and see if I can flip. We're going to play with the, really close up now, Telemark stitch. This is going to be another happy hat. Although when I do Telemark, I can't, this is starting with 10 stitches. I was thinking 10 stitches might be enough, and then I didn't increase too quickly intentionally because I wanted to point, but I wasn't expecting it to be quite this happy. I used to increase every third, but I had to quickly go back and increase every second for quite a few rows in order to get it to flare out quickly enough. So I probably should have started this with like 14 stitches or so if I wanted it to go flat. But you can see there's different shifts in the green. This is one green, this is another green, this is another. I have pulled a yarn stash off the wall behind me. This is what intended use. So up there by the big fat one up there, there's a little hole in the yarn, or the hole in the wall, and maybe even further over, actually closer to the corner. Let's see if I can show that. So we're gonna do this as intended. There's a little hole up there. That's where I'm gonna, yeah, there we can see if I get my finger. There's a little gap. So that's where I'm starting to work on. Oops, let's see if we can go back down a bit here now. Oh yeah, and I expanded my wall a little bit. So next month maybe I can expand some more, we'll see. Definitely underestimated the amount of pegs that I was going to need, but that is all the left of the sulka yarn that I got of the 47 skeins from that magically appeared into my stash. Always can find a good deal on Fiend, and you have to do it. So anyway, this is the stashes that I'm using. The greens weren't a complete match. There was green around this one. It's basically left over in the same wool. But we'll see if I can move this out of my way, and if I can Nalbind and down. There we go. Okay, this one I've been having to take my glasses off to see it because the light is in front of me and not behind me. But so we'll see how it works. So if you haven't done, we did Dalby last year. It's nice to say last year now. We did Dalby last year, and this is the same thing except for the yarn goes over at the end instead of under. So to do this one, you need 3 stitches to start with, 2 loops behind your thumb, which is a little harder to see here. Those are the 2 loops behind my thumb, and then 1 loop on your thumb. And so there's a couple of different ways to do it, but this is how I do it. I have to remember that I'm increasing every 4th. The thing is going pretty slowly. So by the way, when your yarn goes over the thumb loop, what I mean is when you finish your whole thing. Here, let's do it real quick. Sorry. When your yarn finishes over this yarn, and not under, but over, that's going to mean all your stitches are going to slant this way. Might be easier to see in the pink row. See the top row that slants to the right instead of to the left. So F2 would be a bit of a trick on this one. Ah, Garcia's back. Welcome back. Just in time for the needle binding. So anyway, I'm doing F1 because it's easier. F2 would be more like something, I don't know, it would be a bit under the X or something. So, by the way, though, if you ever wanted to do an under the X connection, then you're in the right setup for it because it's the plated edge when that yarn comes out on top. So anyway, F1, you can see there it is. And then these 2 loops behind your thumb, you're going to flip them. This one goes behind, and then you pick up the second one, and then you go back and pick up the third again, and then you finish your stitch by going under but over the thumb loop. There's an easier way to do it if you haven't done it before. So that's the difference, by the way, between Telemark and Dalby. With Dalby, do this real quick, we'll go over it again. With Dalby, you go under, but with Telemark, you go over. And Telemark has like a little bit more of a raised ridge to it, I think, in my opinion. The back side looks like that. I've switched to a different color so you can see it a bit better. But that's the back side where you can see like the plated edge, as they call it. Looks like a bit like braiding. And then the front side looks a bit like that. There's little gaps here, but that's where I'm increasing. So you can see there's like a plated edge on that side too. So the plating looks like it's here on the back side, but it's here on the top. And you might also find out that sometimes because it's a plated edge, it might be look a bit wavy, but when you do the next row, you find out it's actually not that wavy. It's just the edge row. So if it does end up being wavy, just do 1 row of Dalby at the very end or something, and that'll fix it. So anyway, I'll pull this through and we'll do another one. An easiest way to do the stitch if you haven't done it before, F1 there, you can take the 2 loops, actually I'll do it this way. You can take this second loop. So I hear Carl came home. So there you go, the one on your thumb, the second loop, which is behind your thumb, and then the third loop, which is further back. You can take the second loop and put it on your forefinger. Hey, Carl, go find yourself a beer. We're starting with needle binding, but actually it was quite a bit of babble before I got to it, so I really only just started. Okay, so anyway, I saw your messages of distress. So, okay, now I have my third loop is actually still here. So if I do my third loop there, this is getting in the way. Let's see, F1. Pick up the third loop from behind. Then you can scoop that one off your finger and onto your needle. Go under the thumb loop and over the leader yarn, and that's Telemark. So I'll do a couple more times. I think I have to count real quick because I might have to if I do it that way, it makes it a little bit looser than my gauge, so I'm going to have to do it the other way around all the time. But I like that little forefinger trick, and you can check on Nalbinding on Sana's page and see how she does it. She shows it. I think there's a third way too that she does it. I think the other way would be flat, but I don't my brain's not working enough today to figure out how to do that one flat. I'd have to think. But you can kind of see the direction it goes in. Oh, you want a microphone? I have a microphone. Ta-da! We turn Karl on. There you are. Microphone. I did tea tasting because you weren't here to do beer tasting. And then when you're on, you can tell us how your day went, and I'll do this one a little quietly for a second. 1, 2, 3. I have to increase in the next one. Okay. Why the hell are you late? Where have you been?
I've been making wooden swords.
You've been making wooden swords. So you're Santa's little helper. Yeah.
If I see.
And I see you got the chieftain to come out and drive you home by enticing him with Belgian beer.
Yeah, so I have to bring him one tomorrow.
You didn't want to just run, oh, he didn't want to wait?
I didn't want to run up and down.
Oh, yeah.
So I told him that unless he wanted to drink it tonight, I'll bring him one tomorrow.
Yeah, oh, because it's not shoveled out down there yet. Plowed, if they ever do. Hi, Karl, says Samantha. We'll have to say hi to him now. Okay, one more stitch and then I'll let you look at him. I was talking about the Northern Lights, and I put a post up on Viking Valley Facebook that Anders, our blacksmith, took from the village. Apparently you could see the Northern Lights from Gudvangen, which isn't always possible because the mountains are so high. It's like looking at a crack in the sky for an entire thing. But he managed to find it and get a good picture of it with the village in the background, so I thought that would be a good idea. And I posted it up on there, and I called it Viking version of fireworks. I thought didn't know if I'd be able to get away with calling it that. I thought it might be too cheesy, but no. I got one person who was really, really happy, and he reposts it with it like, "This is the only kind of fireworks I can handle, because all you other people that are making the loud noises might as well just set them off in your living room and up your butts." And I'm like, okay, Viking fireworks it is. Everybody likes the Northern Lights. Anyway, it was really kind of funny. He did not write that on the Viking Valley page, though, so you'll be looking in vain. It was a person who shared it. But okay, so then calling it Viking fireworks was not bad. I realized, by the way, this is gonna, when I go through these colors, this is the one I'm on. There's just all my little leftovers from other projects. This is gonna be a little Northern Light-esque as well. Color of the month is green. I've decided it's a new year. We can start all over with the colors, so it's going to be green. You can go any shade. Don't necessarily have to use it for needle binding. You can, whatever you make, just has to have a little bit of green in it. Doesn't have to be completely green. Then we have stash busting. Yes, I failed. I almost did it, but I failed. So Karl wins. I underestimated the amount of time it would take to pack and get shit done before we left, so my hat, this is it. Almost made it. I just had this much left.
But how does this count as a victory for me?
Because you said that, you called it, you said, no, I know you. You can be close, but you weren't going to finish. I know you. Okay. Meanwhile.
So I get the prophecy point.
How many of these did you finish, Karl? How many points?
Absolutely 0.
Absolutely 0. How'd you do, Albert? Karl was going to do 1,000 points of orc painting. Like, finished. This is unassembled. You got this. So instead, you gained 1 over Christmas. So you are now negative.
Yep.
Yep. And you have another one of these. This is Runtherd and Gretchen. So he got one of these for Christmas, and he has one already. You got it from your nephew, but you can never have enough Gretchens, he said. Is that right? Tell me about that.
Well, they're basically cannon fodder.
Cannon fodder, yeah?
And because the opponents usually have a lot of cannons, having a lot of good cannon fodder that isn't orcs is very good for an orc army. The orcs will happily fight to the last goblin, so or Gretchen in this case.
Basically pawns, like in chess.
Wounded. Yes, if the pawns were absolutely physically and mentally incapable of striking out any other pieces, that would be very similar to pawns.
Yeah.
They do very close to nothing on the battlefield.
Yeah.
There is really nothing they can... There are maybe... Nurgle has something that is about as useless as Gretchen. And maybe the big swarm armies, like...
Big swarm armies? Just a minute. Trim, Fuzzy says hi. Okay, you can continue.
But yeah, no, there is, particularly if I'm assuming that I'm fighting Greg or Torbjörn, there is absolutely nothing in their army that would even be slowed down by a Gretchen.
Aha.
But maybe 15 Gretchen just standing together will keep him there for a round or two trying to kill them. And that's a round or two when he isn't killing my other orcs.
We can see this game being played more in the future because Torbjorn, who is one of them that has been collecting a rather large amount of them, different race, not orcs, has built a house and it's almost done. just a couple of, well, not too far away anyway. Just about a street or two away. So that will be fun. You can run over and kill each other at your heart's content.
And his army in particular, Necrons, are
Necrons is what he has, yeah.
very
Oops,
close
5.
to unkillable. So if they're just standing around smacking something and not being killed by it, it might as well be a Gretchen as an orc.
Yeah.
And the orcs can go and do something slightly more useful.
So now we gotta finish painting some of those orcs though, so we can play again, or at least play with some unpainted ones. So yeah, Nalbinders of Ravelry. Yeah, Rhonda didn't know, but there's one. Check in on there. There is a group on there. It's not as active as the Facebook groups, but there's some activity in there. It's like Reddit. Reddit also has a couple of Nalbinding groups. Maybe I check that twice a year. I'm horrible, but today I actually managed to post on there a link. But anyway, that one also has a Nalbinder group. I think it's r//Nalbinding or Nalbinder. Yeah, Nalbinding. It's not as active as the Facebook ones, but there is some activity on there, so it's pretty good to see. And then we'll try to get that one going on the Democratic version of Twitter, Blue Sky as well. I never got on Twitter, but I'm on Blue Sky now. So let's see. Warhammer is having made-to-order terrain that Albert wants so badly. The cat really wants to snuggle. Hi. You want to say hi to Trim?
Claws are in my knee.
Sucks to be you. Better yours than mine. What's I going to say? That he really wants so bad for all of them to do, but it's too much for him at the moment because he bought most of the gifts this year. Aw, Santa's proud of you. No, I think even Carl's bank account said, stop it! Too many orcs! So he's on a little bit of an orc break, like I'm on a bit of a yarn break, and then we go back on again.
It's like I have everything in an unpainted version already, and I'm trying my best not to buy more of something I haven't painted.
No, because we have to do a lot of painting.
So when I painted a unit, then I think I can justify buying a new unit of the same kind.
Or the terrain that Albert really wants.
I have shitloads of terrain.
Oh, okay.
That's also unpainted.
By the way, we need to give you a beer. So Carl's beer, Julebok, which means?
Well, it's probably a bock
a bock beer, yeah.
And I don't know exactly what it is.
So it's a Christmas bock, but it's 9%. So this one we definitely got at Vinmonopol.
For some reason I associate it with Trøndelag, but I'm not sure why.
Isn't Mac from Trøndelag?
Well,
traditional. Well, Heidi's here. She would maybe know. Let's see. Oh my God, the glare on that can.
Buddy.
He's really snuggly. He's a YouTube whore. This cat. He's just trying to get more likes and hearts. It says that it's välegnet för lagring, so it's great for storing.
Yeah, it means that I have sold it too early, and you should actually keep it on the box for a year or two before.
Yeah, so like a fine wine, you gotta let it age. Traditional double bock med inspiration från Einbeck och München. So it's with inspiration from Einbeck, is what's that called? Einbeck in Germany, and then Munich.
Yeah, both in Germany.
Yeah, München is Munich. Meget fyldig matkaraktär, very full malt character, characteristics. Market södma och lång eftersmak. A noticeable sweetness and a long aftertaste. This should go over well.
I honestly have no idea. This type
Mörk
of beer.
brunsvart farge med fyldig skum. Skum is a word I like in Norwegian. So mörk brunsvart is it's a dark brown black color with a full foam. The cappuccino you call it the foam. I think I've told this before, but you call the foam skum in Norwegian, which looks like scum with a K. And one of my first Norglish words were, here, you can have the rest of my cappuccino because you like the scum. Anyway, enjoy your Yule book. Let's see how it is. Oh, you have to say that we had Yule book, not book but book, Yule book 2 times this year at your house, which is
Yeah.
it's like the Norwegian version of trick or treating, but it's at Christmas.
Yeah,
It's kinda
it's
like
a
caroling.
weird and not standardized tradition.
He wants your beer.
In Selje, it's strictly on New Year's Eve.
Let him pour. Say hi. It was because we had one was like Christmas, the day after Christmas, and one was on New Year's Eve.
And we had one the day after Christmas too.
Yeah, we had 2 of them.
It's not normal in Selje.
Yeah, well, it was that way in Oslo as well. There was every once
Yeah,
in a while,
Oslo,
but it
they
wasn't
do-
too often.
Oslo, they do it like
He
that.
really wants
because
his beer. Look at him.
the way the tradition is basically everywhere else is that it is romjul. So from Christmas to New Year that people are doing this. And it's somewhere between Halloween and Christmas
Could have
caroling.
found the group for Nalbinding on Reddit. Yeah.
But in Selje, it used to be. If you had one on Christmas Day, then that's the guy on Christmas Day. But it used to be only on New Year's Eve. And it's more Halloween-like than...
Yeah, it was. One kid came with Christmas lights on him, and the other one, well, the other, it mostly reflects vests, which you kind of have to have, so I appreciate that. But when I had him, when they came in Oslo, oh no, the first group, they were dressed up like Olsen Banda, the Olsen band.
No.
Yeah. Continue, sorry, I interrupted.
The way the tradition used to be, I don't see anybody doing it anymore, which is kind of bad, is that you have the kids going nyttårsbukk, meaning that they dress up in costumes, people try to guess who they are and give them candy. The adults go drambukk, which basically means liquor.
A drum.
Dram is a
It's
shot of liquor. So I remember when I was like 14, 15, it's kind of from house to house. They changed between considering me to be a kid and considering me to be an adult because I'm wearing a mask. They can't see me.
Did you have a beard then too?
Oh no, I had enormous amounts of akevitt and vodka. Because a lot of people thought I was adult. And other people gave me candy while I'm basically just going into their house. So sometimes I thought I was a kid and sometimes I thought I was adult. So this might be the reason we are not doing this anymore. Because it causes a little bit of
Underage drinking?
unplanned underage drinking, where people think they are serving an adult, but they're actually serving a kid.
Yeah.
But it was a fun tradition, though.
But yeah, you also said another thing. You said he's in the julebok and nyttårsbok. Julebok would be Christmas book, and nyttårsbok would be New Year's book.
Book would directly translate to be a male goat.
Yeah, B-U-K-K, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But basically, what you describe sounds very much like caroling, like we had.
Yes, but
And you would kind of give them a little shot for singing for you.
that's the thing, because
But that would be adults, yeah.
it didn't used to be like that. The people who came this New Year and started singing Christmas songs,
Yeah.
that's not how we used to do this.
No.
And also, you don't dress up in something Christmassy normally, unless you're too cheap to buy any other mask than your Santa Claus mask.
Yeah.
You dress up as something scary or strange. So that's where kind of the Halloween part comes in.
Oh, you do actually dress up like something scary or strange.
This is how it used to be when I was 14. I keep being reminded now that that's a while ago.
Back when dinosaurs roamed the earth.
Yeah.
He's younger than me. I was talking about Back to the Future and watched it as a kid. I was 13.
It was 1989-ish.
1989, yeah, then I was 17.
So it's not dinosaurs that roam the earth, but George Bush Sr. is president.
Yeah. No, I was 17, yeah.
Margaret Thatcher is still Prime Minister in England. The Cold War is singing on its very last verse.
Berlin Wall fell. Wasn't that 1989?
1991.
Twins won the World Series for a change?
Believe, but
I think that might have been 88.
the beginning of the end is very close
I
at
can't
this time.
count. Yeah. And Carl was getting drunk.
Yeah,
Okay, I gotta catch up. You got people saying hi to you, by the way, Carl. Albert says he built 2 and gained 6 boxes. So he's ahead of you. He did better than you on stash busting anyway, but he gained 6 boxes. People saw him.
wouldn't that, if I got minus 1 box for 1 box, then he should get, we built 2, got 6, then he's at -4. He did worse than me.
Yeah, but he actually did something.
Yeah,
You
but
managed to break one of yours. You actually went in the hole. The one that you were going to show, look, I'm going to paint this and I'm ready to go. I'm going to do 1,000 points. And the first thing you do is snap the base off of it.
I just remembered where all the other ones are, by the way.
Yeah.
Bedroom upstairs.
Yeah, they are. That's going to be the
That's
new,
the ones that
the
are
orc
not
room.
based yet. So
Yeah.
they're all in a case up there.
Because the cats kept getting into them. So. Yep. And then he says a little bit more here, by the way. He said the terrain pieces are like Gothic church with statues, and they stopped taking orders on Monday, I think. Are you going to be okay?
Yeah, I think I can do without
You
the
need. You have more
How-
like
how re-
metal steampunk, not steampunk, but
Yes,
warehouse.
but exactly how religious do you think my orcs are?
Maybe they want to be religious
They are
someday.
kind of like the Vikings. If they are in a church, it's somebody else's church and they are there to plunder.
You never know. You might find the old holy orc, the one and only. Let's see. There we go. Okay, yeah. So Heidi says that Makkel are vel Nordland. So that beer is probably from Nordland instead. It didn't actually say on there, but I don't know. It's like the writing is such small on a shiny gold part of the can, so it's hard to see.
Yeah, no, it's not Mack. I was associating with
No?
Trøndelag. It's Bukk.
Bukk, yeah.
Bukk. But I don't know why I'm making this association, so it might be completely wrong.
So I saw. Oops, Carl. The cat took off his microphone. So I haven't caught up on Facebook. I need to catch up. But one thing I did see right when I was sharing this, it kind of popped up, and somebody asked a really good question I like. Which stitch and splice method do you use the most? Not your favorite per se, but what do you use the most? I thought that was actually a good question, and I want to kind of flip through the answers because Oslo, by far, hands down, it's not my most favorite stitch. There's other ones I like more. I like Dalnar, I like Finish 2+2, etc. But Oslo, hands down, because it goes so fast compared. So I was kind of curious what others thought of that too. But then I thought I might get in trouble though because, you know, this is post-corona and I still prefer the spit method. But, you know, 72 hours, there's no more trace of it in the hat, is there? And wool is a self-cleaning fiber, so that's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. But that is my favorite. It's still my favorite method. I don't know, there's like enzymes in spit or something, so it actually works a little bit better than water. Don't know why. Probably because I'm drinking tea with Audra honey in it. Maybe. Albert says his screen is so sensitive that I think I click and send. He had a little mix up on his chat, that's why. Okay, and then Peruta posted a link for the Reddit group, by the way, if you're interested in that one. For those, not everybody likes Facebook, by the way. Oh, and Rongdale, by the way, says that not only does Trim say hi, but she's preparing sewing mittens. Big hugs from Brutum. That would be. I gotta do some sewing. I haven't done a damn thing, but Carl, you need mittens. I have some that I use for Viking over. Where are they? Oh, I put them in the kitchen, but they're not necessarily Viking. They're like the suede ones with the fluff on the ends. It's actually it's like the wool of the sheep, but you have the suede side, and then the wool is still on the sheep, but it's like only or on the skin, but it's only about like this thick or so, and it's fairly dense. And then you can find these gloves pretty much anywhere. But you make it so you have the suede side on the outside and the fur is on the inside, and then at the bottom you flip it up. But that's not a Viking one, I don't think. I just use it for that because it's somewhat camouflageable. I took a class to learn how to make those, by the way. And then I thought, Jesus, these would be fun to make, but they cost like, I mean, the materials for, you know, one piece of leather with a fur on it, I think is probably enough to make maybe 2 pairs of mittens, adult size, maybe 3 if you're lucky. And they cost about 700 to 1,000 krona for one of them. And then, of course, you've got the time of cutting out and sewing it. That part goes actually a little bit quickly, but Then I thought, my God, how can these things be so cheap? And then I realized I've been buying mine at the thrift store. They are actually like quite expensive when you buy them in regular stores. So anyway, that was something I used for mittens. I had Siri made me mittens once that are just plain leather. I use those for collecting stinging nettles in the village. But they're based on some find. I have to should get those out one day. But if you look up Viking mittens, there's a couple of people that have made some on their blogs. Olav is here, by the way. He says he is buying PC stuff. He's on a buying PC stuff break. Just got himself a 3D printer. Christmas killed us all, did it not? Who else is giving themselves a little bit of a timeout? I'm on a yarn timeout, although I did pretty well with not buying too much yarn for most of the year until I got hit hard with a really good find on fiend.no.
Since I did...
He's buying computer stuff.
Now he's done buying computer stuff.
No, he's on a break from it. He's not allowed to buy anymore.
Or he is on a break from buying politically correct stuff. So he's just buying the politically incorrect Temu ads.
So when you say PC, I'm sorry, were you referring to politically correct or personal computer? And who put you on this break? Did you do that yourself or did Steve make you do it?
I just have to ask when I have a full chat of people to ask. Either I am a complete pervert and Temu knows it, or I am not a pervert, but Temu thinks I am.
Temu, T-E-M-U, yeah.
Chinese people who try to sell you stuff.
The ads come up automatically on Facebook.
I get on Facebook are beyond belief. It's absolutely nuts.
Mine offers me, it says maybe I want to buy clothes, I want to buy hobby notions, it's, yarn, it tries to show me cheap acrylic yarn, shoes every once in a while, and storage, personal storage, but I don't usually get the weird crap you get though, he gets some perverted stuff. I mean, eggplant is nothing compared to the crap that he gets on his Temu. But anyway, I don't know how you'd say that in English, but because I wasn't around when I lived there. But in Norway we say Temu, but T-E-M-U. It's like Alibaba or Wish or something like that. Are you looking it up now to see what you get? Your suggestions on Facebook?
Maybe it was YouTube, not Facebook. I'll double check.
Are you getting them on YouTube? I was going to say, I get them on Facebook once in a while, but not all the time. He's been obsessed by this. And his descriptions are better than the product themselves. Okay, so I'm going to catch up a little bit more.
Of course, I'm
Lindsay says called shearling when the fleece is on the inside. Okay, I did not know that, but that would make it a lot easier to find it online if I ever decide I want to make more of those. I made like 3 or 4, and that's when I ran out of fabric. Or the shearling. Anne says, so very serious. It's not dinosaurs, but Bush and Thatcher. Weren't they dinosaurs? Yep. Do you agree?
You don't want to discuss politics with me.
No, that's right. I don't want to. Speaking of politics, we don't want to discuss. Okay. The jury came in. The politically, it's a kitty hat. We're just going to stick with that, but we're going to stay politically neutral on this one. It did not pass the buck with my kid, and this is the null-bound one. I got my head is up. But anyway, it's also not completely pink. It's got a, she thought it should be pink all the way down, but this wasn't her color of pink. And of course, because it was a stash busting project and I ran out of pink, it's also been tied off with, I think we need to, I can't sell this in the store because it's not Viking. The Nalbinding is Viking, but it's also a little bit of a political issue. It can be. Now mostly people are making it because they're really into, I don't know. My kid said if we had to make one with Hello Kitty version of this, which was nice, white, and fluffy, and has that one I crocheted, and has like the little, a bow here and the eyes and the nose. And then my kid said, I had to look this one up too. I didn't know what it is. It's called Neon Cat, N-Y-A-N. So the one that didn't like this said this wasn't quite her style. Says I need to make one, and basically that's gray with a kitty on there because she liked the way the Hello Kitty cat turned out. But I don't know. We can give it away, maybe if we think of do a giveaway or something. And I can give it away. It's a little snug for my head, but it will stretch out a little bit as you go. So, oh, there you go. Albert says, I helped delete my dad's Temu account because he keeps getting scam ads. And calls, by the way. Wow. No, I don't know. So we have to think of, we can think of some sort of giveaway, Carl. And maybe we can give it away because I can't, it's this nice, it's the one that's 60% merino, 20% alpaca, 20% silk. Wonderful, wonderful, my favorite discontinued yarn. But I can't sell it because it's a political thing and it's not Viking in style. But so we can't wear it in the village either. And my kid didn't want it, and I don't know what to do with it. But I'm not going to rip it back up. You want to? You need to model this for people so they can see. But we have to think of an excuse. Pert is really good at this. Think of what the hell is wrong with your hair? Thinking of an excuse to have a giveaway. I haven't done one in a long time. I did it on on Instagram when I had a follower thing, but now I can't post on Instagram anymore because my camera doesn't speak the right language. So you could look this happy in a kitty hat.
Yeah, if you
but
too
the shape
want
of
to
the
look
hat,
like a depressed idiot,
it gives you kitty ears. But it's not completely political because it's got a gray edge on it. So I have no idea. Carl's, Albert says that Tamo said they sell your details and scammers use them.
well,
That makes sense. I've been getting scam calls lately.
scammers, the Chinese government.
I think they're going to find me anyway because I had TikTok. I just don't
But
post.
what I don't get is the likelihood of me buying a woman's leather corset with cutouts for boobs is like 0. I'm not buying that.
Well, no Valentine's Day for you then. I'm just kidding. I don't want any of that stuff.
Or a humongous shiny eggplant. Or some kind of little cage for your penis. I'm not buying any of these things. So whatever they're basing their logic on is just plain wrong.
This is so fun listening to you have this conversation in that cute little kitty hat.
Okay, if you too want to look like a disturbing pervert.
Carl's face.
But what do you want them to do to get an option to get this wonderful pussy hat?
I don't know. We got to think of something. But he was shocked. Laugh out loud. That was pretty good. A nice hat while sleeping in the winter time. Yeah, it'll definitely keep you warm. But it's a little snug. Carl's not the biggest head in the world. But there's, it'll stretch out a little bit though with use because the fibers start getting thin when it gets a lot of love to it. Anyway, so we have to think of something. Maybe we can think of something in a couple of weeks.
Pussy hat will stretch out with use.
Okay, we're not going to call it that. You no longer have the right to wear the hat. Valentine's Day is coming up, pal. Consider your Tamo purchases carefully. And by the way, don't ever buy me one of those. What the hell did you do? This one I need bound for you, but it's been loved a lot. He's got like sawdust patterns on there. You can see where the headgear goes. The ear protections. There you go. You're looking all normal again. No, so I don't know. We'll think of something because I can't. There's think the battery on the gimbal died, so we'll take that off.
So that's the gimbal's way of telling you.
That's the gimbal's way of telling me I have that and the fact that there's no flashing lights on it anymore. So anyway, but that's okay. We're almost at 7:30, so. We'll have to end soon. I have no idea how the battery is doing on my phone. We'll just support this there.
Oh, that's disturbing us.
That is disturbing as hell. So I put this, I'm balancing it on the laptop, like right here, but I've also got the laptop with a time delay on it in the background.
Time delay and mirrored image.
And it's a mirrored image. So it's basically, okay, if I do this, 1, 2, now I see it on screen.
Yeah.
2 seconds, yeah.
No, it's...
But it's I have it up so I can see the chat that's in the background. It's much easier to read the chat on the computer than it is to read it on the laptop, or on the phone. But anyway, yeah. So we have to think of something for this, and we'll have to give a pretty good amount of time because not everybody watches live. Some watch it later. Not everybody can make it every week either, though. And we'll think of some excuse to do a giveaway.
Maybe we can give it to the person with the best Viking-related question.
Did you answer them all yet?
No, but we don't get that many questions.
Yeah, we haven't had Viking questions in a while, but that's because the village is too dark at night to film in right now. So when we're filming in the village more, we get more Viking questions.
But I'm here and I can answer them.
Yep.
So let's just motivate them.
And how do we know you're not going to favoritism, which is... Oh, yeah, no, I loved that question about Vikings and snowflakes. Peruta gets the hat.
Do you really think I have any kind of dog in the race on who gets the pussy hat?
I don't know. You're buying lingerie with on Temu.
If I was, and I'm not, not that I have anything against lingerie,
The
but
best
I
Temu shopping list is love.
absolutely don't want to give any money to the Chinese unless I have to.
Yeah.
So, no, there will be no Temu lingerie in your future.
Damn it. I wanted to see if they could come up with my
If you want a leather corset, we'll have Greg make you one.
Oh, God, no. I'll break it.
Give him your measurements.
I was gonna say we're gonna catch up a little bit more here. That was the hat was be good for sleeping. Yeah, I don't understand how some yarn could get so political. I don't get it. Just look up pussy hat. Google pussy hat in relation to the first time Trump ran for president, and then you'll know. But I didn't want to be Republicans versus Democrat because that's not why I made it. I made it because my kid wanted a hat with cat ears.
We are in a very stupid time right now.
Yeah, it was political statement. Now mostly kids are wearing them and they don't know what it meant. They just like to look like kitty cats from Asia or something.
Political opponents turn into enemies these days, and they're not.
Yeah.
No matter where you stand, the people who disagree with you are not your enemies.
Yep.
Except for the absolute fringe on both sides, which are genuinely crazy.
Yeah. So no, but because anyway, I wanted to keep everything politically and religiously neutral. So it's not a political point that's made with it, but it does happen to be a similar color and theme, but that's not intended. But anyway, because there's one also that style of hat isn't Viking that we know of. Actually, there are no finds of Nalbinding hats in the Viking Age. They come right after, and Nalbinding exists before.
If you want to level the playing field, you can make a red one with a brim on it.
Oh, God. Okay.
So you have both sides represented in your weird political hats.
No, we're not going to do weird political hats. But anyway, no, because the style of the hat is neither Viking and it's a little bit on the political side, I can't put it in the shop. So since my kids rejected it and decided their friends don't want to wear it either because they all want to look like Pusheen or a Neon or Hello Kitty, I have no use for it. So it was a no war but class war. Yeah, and then Peru put a link up if you really want to find out what we're trying to avoid on that one, debating. Anyway, see, Lindsay said Nullbound hat giveaway. Pick me, Monty. I dress like a turnip. I really would like to have that hat. There you go. So we'll find a way. So somebody will like it. It's really quite cute. And you can see, but it looks, because of the gray brim, it doesn't actually look and the gray top, it doesn't look as political as the original ones. But the pattern is really cute. So I got to say, I like the pattern. So I will make one for my kid out of the gray. I think I have more of that one. The Neon Cat. Nyan. Why are you buzzing? Oh, somebody's calling you, I think. Yeah. Carl's got fans. Let's see. Robin says, oh, God, yes. I love that to see Greg's face when you ask him to make him a corset.
Yeah, I'll go for it.
Yeah, you better take that. It sounds like it's the neighbor. Garcia says, was there a difference in raising girls or boys in the Viking times? Ooh, good question.
Nei,
we'll ask him in a minute.
Jeg prøvde å ringe fordi jeg trodde jeg var stuck på jobb, men jeg klarte å komme meg hjem igjen.
The cat should be a hat. I think the cat should be a hat. Yeah. By the way, says Max, this year, okay, April is Autism Awareness
Den kan for så vidt stå på
which, as some of you all may know,
parkeringsplass
as
for
I'm autistic. Oh yeah, maybe we can do something for that. See if you have any suggestions. Yep. Is there like a color ribbon that they use? Maybe we can crochet a little. I mean, not crochet. Nullbind one of those bows.
Nei, jeg tenkte på det når jeg var desperat, men så fikk jeg heldigvis kontakt med Georg.
Okay, I see my battery is running low, so we're going to have to call it pretty quickly unless it hangs up on us, but it's a battery on my phone because I'm using internet. Let's see.
Nei, jeg rekner med at Rune eller Greg kjører forbi.
You probably have your microphone on. Oh, no, I turned you on. Yeah.
Ja, nei, men da snakkes vi.
Yeah. So I didn't realize that, but we'll find out when he calls back. So you can, Carl's mic is on, so you can hear his conversation. Yeah, he's trying to do something to get somebody wants to get a ride somewhere, I think.
No, I tried to get Anders the blacksmith to drive me before I got through with Georg, and he didn't see the lost call until
Okay.
now.
But at least now you know what his dialect sounds like. Ik räknar.
Yeah, no, that's
So
what I sound like when I
You
speak
have
normally.
a very limited amount of time because I see my phone battery is running low. Because the microphones and the internet connection.
have a
Very
limited
limited
amount of
time to
time
answer a
to do what?
question. There was we had a good Viking question in there. Let's see, where was it? Was there? Garcia asks, was there a difference in raising girls or boys in the Viking times?
Almost certainly yes.
Yeah.
Their gender roles are almost as cut with a knife. This is men's work, this is women's work. So they would almost certainly, as certain as we can be about anything in the Viking Age, there would be clear differences in what you teach a girl and what you teach a boy. Some things, like at least if you are upper class, you need to handle weapons to some extent, was probably taught to both genders.
Yeah.
But other things would strictly be taught to one or the other.
Now, would this be like the typical things that you would think of, like women were for housework and textiles, where men were for fighting and blacksmithing, for example?
Yes, most likely.
Yeah.
It's things you associate with women's work were probably also women's work in the Viking Age. The only example I know of for absolutely sure is milking cows. A man cannot be caught doing that. That will cause irreparable damage to his reputation.
Images. Junior, don't you milk that cow. Let go of those teats.
It's their ideas about things are not exactly identical to ours. So there might be weird discrepancies. But it's hard to say because nobody ever feels a need to sit down and describe their society to other people in their society.
Yeah.
So it's never written down. So you only get it when it's peripherally mentioned. So you have the weird quote from Loki when he is insulting all the gods in the Loki Tretta in the Edda, where he says to Odin, and Odin plays the drums like a prophetess.
Ooh.
What is the actual insult here? Odin is playing drums, and drums is a female instrument, maybe. Odin is playing the drums in a way that is associated with prophetesses, maybe. Odin has a feminine way of playing drums, maybe. Or Odin is trying to do prophecy, which he shouldn't be doing because it's women's work. Maybe. We don't know.
So drum playing might have been women's work.
Trump?
No, drum playing. God, you are so political today. Piss off. Get off my YouTube.
Well, it might have been. But the thing is, we don't know the context for that quote.
Yeah.
We know it's an insult because the things he is saying to all the other gods are absolutely not nice. But this one specifically directed at Odin, and Odin is a weird one because magic is women's work in the Viking Age, and Odin is also doing a lot of magic. So Odin might be, at least in his own opinion, above the rules. He can do whatever he feels like. You don't have anybody to complain to if Odin does something wrong. There is nobody over him on the chain of command. But it's a weird society. It's my impression is that they are somewhat more lenient with women stepping over the line. If a woman does something they consider to be manly, they are basically going, okay, that's pretty cool. But if a man does something feminine, he will never hear the end of it. So most likely, and again, it very much depends on class. Because when it comes to a thrall, the Vikings wouldn't really care about the gender of the thrall. There is a job that needs to be done. If you think it's woman's work, I don't care, you have to do it. You are a thrall. But for free people, and the more powerful, the more noticeable this becomes, there would be strict rules for what you can and cannot do.
Just have to show the cute little ball.
He's very snuggly today.
Yeah. Okay, but I gotta cut you off though because if I can't plug in the phone because the microphones are plugged into the phone, and the last time we tried to switch the sound mid-sending, we ended up doing charades. Remember? Yeah, it just it cut out all the sounds altogether. So, but I guess we start thinking of Viking questions if that's what we want to do, and then.
Yeah, and if you suspect me of being biased, how about we collect the questions and then we have a vote?
Yeah. Well, good news is he has crappy vision, so he can't read the chat. But yeah, that we could do that too. By the way, Pruda says she's autistic too. The preferred symbol is a rainbow infinity symbol, which should be easy to Nalbind, and Max likes that idea too. Says we think we should make it both for that and Pride Month. There you go. So we could do something fun. Little ideas. Another thing we also thought about doing is maybe a little bit WIP related, work in progress related. If you have an unfinished object or work in progress, the focus would be to try to finish it. I have so many. So, but we haven't quite decided to put words on that, but lots of fun things. Stash busting is now basically resting again until Halloween when we want to scare people. My mood blanket failed miserably. I think I got too moody for it and just stopped. So I should probably finish that, but at this point we're just going to go with full-on rage to finish it and make it into a shawl maybe.
Yeah, final judgment on this thing.
Yeah, did you like it?
Not bad, but not Belgian.
Not bad, but not Belgian. You cannot get a ride home for that thing. Okay. But anyway, so we will see you next week. I'm glad the microphones are working. Yeah, I would remember I can mute your microphone, or you can just take it off. So we don't have to hear you and your driving plans with the blacksmith.
Yeah, no, but
But your Norwegian was very good. It was fun to listen to.
As long as I'm not in a criminal conspiracy, I don't think it matters.
The bodies will be buried on the blacksmith's property with Carl's car. Okay, anyway, so next week, Saturday should not be an issue. Same time, 6:30 at our time, Norway. We will see you then. And good luck with the Telemark stitch. We'll be doing this all month. Aha! Okay, bye-bye.
Why did you channel your inner Holger there for a moment?
Because it results. Mayonnaise. All right, bye.
Bye.